What's going on, guys? So I wanted to talk to you today about two client stories that I think are going to change your life. And we'll get into why they're going to change your life after I share the stories. Now, for confidentiality purposes, I'm not going to be sharing names or anything like that. But I do want to talk about these two clients that I've worked with. As you know, I'm a functional nutritional therapy practitioner specializing in metabolic health and women's hormones. And I have two female clients that I want to talk about with you today briefly. They're going to give you something to think about and a point that I want to make at the end of the video. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel and liked this video, please do that. Share this with somebody that might be inspired by it. So we have case one and case two. Case one came to me a couple years back. She was experiencing what we call perimenopausal symptoms, or what are called perimenopausal symptoms, and what I now deem as what's called early onset perimenopausal symptoms, which we'll talk about the difference between those two here in a second. She was a strict ketogenic diet eater for over half a decade, and for some reason, what was helping her lose weight and maintain her weight loss and maintain her hormones was no longer working. She was starting to notice excess cortisol. She was starting to notice that she was showing signs of perimenopause, right? So irregular cycles lasting longer than 30 days, 60 days, etc. Hot flashes randomly, not really getting stronger in the gym, all that jazz. This client, we did some supplementation to help support her hormones as well as strategic carbohydrate timing around her workouts. About 18 months into this, right? So 18 months, that's a long time. She invested money, time, resources, and was consistent and did all the things she needed to do. And in 18 months, we were able to get her back onto a regular cycle. And to this day, this is 2 years ago, to this day, she's still on a regular cycle. And she's hitting new lows on the scale while maintaining more muscle mass than she's ever had by adding in carbohydrates into her diet, okay? So for someone like this, what's happening is cortisol and lack of thyroid conversion in the liver, T4 to T3, things like that, create a suppression of sex hormones, which overall creates these signs of perimenopause, although she's not technically in it yet if her hormones were balanced. This is what I call early onset menopausal symptoms. This is where you're showing signs of perimenopause, but it's early onset. You don't need to be going through it right now. And there's ways to regulate your nutrition and supplementation to help counteract and get you back onto a regular cycle so that when your body is fully supported and ready to go through that phase of its life, it's able to do that in a much healthier way with much less PMS symptoms, etc. Okay? So that's case number one. Case number two was a client that came to me that had been doing keto carnivore for a while. Same issue. Running into just signs of early onset menopause, not getting muscle, feeling tired, things like that. With her, carbs did not work. We tried it. It didn't work. We found keeping her carbs under 50 total and then focusing more on giving her more fat on training days and less fat on non-training days allowed her to tap back into fat stores, recover well from her workouts. Also, let me preface on this one. We had to really space out her workouts because the thing was that her body reacted really strongly to refined and high glycemic carbohydrates, right? It didn't give us a positive effect. That could be due to still some more insulin resistance she was dealing with, whatever have you. But also, her body just wasn't recovering well from the workouts. And because we weren't able to use carbohydrates in a positive manner, it made sense to space her workouts more, be more intense during the workouts, and then load her with some fat that would be used over the next couple days of recovery to replenish glycogen stores and give her the energy that she needed. Once we did this and we got her fat and protein ratios right with a moderate amount of carbs, again, 50 total, right? Not a lot, not a little. She was able to fully bounce back. And now she's thriving, eating a strict ketogenic diet, running Spartan races, doing all this crazy cool stuff. What's my point in telling you these two stories? Very different clients, same issue, roughly, but the solution was different. And that's the big thing that I preach about and I talk about when I'm on stage and I talk about on these videos is that you are a unique individual. And so if you're coming in here confused because you've been following one train of thought and you don't know what to do, it's going to save you time, effort, and money and all the other things that go into creating a good health journey, getting with a good coach, creating a good program. If you're willing to get past the dogma and focus on nuance, what do you need as an individual? And that's what I help people do. And so I just want to share that with you and encourage you. Like if you're finding yourself having to deviate from like the main path, so to speak, in the low carb keto space or the carnivore space, or even just if you find yourself deviating from standard American diet or a standard fitness diet programs that are out there if it fits your macros, etc. That's okay. This is about equipping you and empowering you to figure out what's going to work best for you. And that's going to look very different for every person, even if you have similar symptoms. It can look different depending on nuanced things, right? Insulin sensitivity, thyroid hormone, sex hormones, progesterone, cortisol, your sleep patterns, your exercise routine, how well your body responds to recovery, your mTOR, your anabolic responses, protein synthesis, etc. All of that comes into play. And so it's okay to find yourself not doing exactly what your neighbor's doing. And that's the biggest message I wanted to get across today. So I hope that's encouraging. I know it's not a super long video. I didn't want it to be. I wanted to plead those two cases and just make that stir something in your brain. If you're interested in coaching though, this is the 15th as of this recording and posting. 17th it ends. You can use code SUMMER for 20% off any of our coaching programs. So if you're confused, or maybe this made you have more questions and you just want to work with somebody for 3 months, 6 months, or however long you need to, and you want to invest in that time, but you're worried about budget or whatever, now's the time. 20% off. Use code SUMMER to get in on the coaching at theketoroad.com. I'll put the link in the comment or in the description. If you have questions, put them in the comment section. I love to answer some questions, make some more videos. Y'all know I love responding to y'all's questions and making content. So I love y'all. I hope this was educational. I hope it was encouraging and encourages you to keep asking questions and keep digging deeper to figure out what works best for you. All right, guys, till next time.